begin our reflection with a reading from Anastasia Birosh, The Spark of Love. The spark of love that resides in us all, we are free to act from it or not. If we choose love, how will love shape what we do? If we choose love, how will it improve our actions? If we choose love, how will I treat those around me? And if I choose love, will I find it when life gets hard? If I choose love, will you also choose love? Love begets love, and it is love that lights our chalice. It is love that lights our way. So this active choice for love was and is at the heart of last year's annual campaign with the church that says yes. I have been a part of fulfilling any number of annual campaigns over the years, and I will confess I recall very few particular themes. But this one stands out. The church that says yes. It is big and a bit bold and a little bit brash. Such a theme has to be authentic. It has to feel true, not in every moment, but at its core and in how it is lived. That yes already has to be present if people are to connect with it and to want to live into it as well. It is a yes that must be based in love if it is to sustain a beloved community and motivate a community of people to continue to be in the glories and the heartbreaks of life, well, of congregational life sometimes too. The early notes of this year come from that yes and that query of, are we going to live into it? So we are not in a fixed state of being. We are not just, once you say love or yes, there's nothing else to do. No, we are always continually refreshing and renewing, engaging, discovering, making mistakes, and trying again. We always live in a question, as the reading reminds us. So the first themes of that yes and that inquiry and that wondering certainly began in the beginning of the year. We said thank you to the previous board president, Linda Fairbanks, and we said yes and thank you to Edward Flint as the new president as he came into the position. So thank you, Edward, for just that yes alone. Now, at the beginning of the year, I also had a little bit of wondering of my own. In this beginning of year 5, we are in the moment. Most of my ministries have been short-term. They had more specific goals in mind. And I had been wanting to be a settled minister for a long time. And at the beginning of this year, I had a small moment of what happens when the dog that's chasing the car actually catches it. I have it, now what? And we've been figuring that question out this year as well. In August and September, many of your questions in the question box sermon and in conversations included exploring spiritual practices, how to be better connected with people and with the church, and how to hang in there through the election season. In the previous year's 5-year planning conversations, you leaned in when I asked how we might deepen the strength of the congregation, deepen the strength of the community within the congregation, and that you are searching. We are searching. The key words, a few of the key words gathered in the August board meeting reflect this yearning. Some of those words include engagement, investment, enrichment, radical as in back to the roots, being a catalyst for connection, and even this idea of being revolutionary. So the themes showed up in this year, of course, in ways we hoped for and in ways we didn't expect. We had a chance to practice our ongoing reflection on democracy and being an active part of our democratic process. Much of the energy and the momentum of this year, I think, comes from how this nation has become a living, and unfortunately a living laboratory for why we have systems that provide healthcare, education, stewardship of the environment, that protect and expand on civil rights, on voting rights, on fair labor practices, and much more. That fund research into our big questions in partnership with educational institutions and nonprofits. Why we send aid around the world for food and life-saving medicine. And how we are recognizing that we are a diverse people who claim neighbors from faraway lands as part of our next-door community. We are learning that we are better together. We are also finding our voice and finding out that we are not alone. It's also been hard because there are certain losses that are staying with us. Some of our beloved members and friends have died, and they were honored. I want to thank the Caring Committee for all their work with being wonderful hosts throughout the year for so many memorial services. But those who have passed, their absence is its own presence. We are experiencing a shift in generations. Some members of the congregation are not able to be active in the way they once were. And we also feel the deaths as well as these other life changes. We feel them in our hearts. We are missing people. We feel that absence. And we miss those people who are part of our people. We've also had some financial challenges. The church made an important leap of faith when it started the search for a new minister in 2019, following the Reverend Michael Brown's retirement after 27 years of ministry. The compensation was an important part of that leap of faith, including adding health insurance for more of the staff. Some one-time gifts and savings had sustained the congregation through the first part of the pandemic, and those were being used as planned, but those are running out. And also some of the larger pledges ended when folks passed. Now, the board and the finance volunteers and I, we admit, we weren't quite sure how this was all going to work out this year. And you have been so generous and so supportive with additional pledges, with new pledges, with robust fundraisers. We have much more to do, but we are in a pretty good place for being where we are right now and for building into the future. We also are recovering from the 2-year gap during the pandemic when we didn't sign any new members. We had long-term members shifting into less active roles. And so we have some significant gaps in our volunteering that still need filling. Now, fortunately, it's now been a little bit more time and we have a bunch more people. And so some of our newer members are coming into volunteering and making the church happen alongside those who continue to do the good work. We also enjoy a wonderful, stable administrative team with staff and one volunteer. So in case you didn't know, we have an administrative team that consists of myself, Melissa Anderson, the office manager, Jesse Laughlin as director of Lifespan Religious Education, and Regina Stanley as our membership coordinator. And we have a volunteer member from Tim Harold. And we meet every week to kind of get a sense for what's happening in the church and how to help move things forward. So it was a complete turnover in staff since I arrived in 2020. And so now we have found this wonderful stability with a fantastic team. And they love working with the congregation in fulfillment of our shared mission. It's a joy to be together and to have them be part of the community. So let me also offer a few other specific ways we practice our values and how we have been in community as a congregation and in the world. So I want to thank Jay Gruber for her tireless effort to recruit new folks for our small group ministry and to expand our small group options. Our small groups really needed a boost at this point, and that has turned out really well. Lots of folks have come in, and lots of folks who've been long-term members have continued with our small groups. So I'm looking forward to seeing where our small groups go into the future. I want to thank Lindy Peterson and Jesse Laughlin for creating a high school class that became a coming-of-age class. The service led by the youth on May 18th showed their effort and the support of the congregation. It is no small thing to go from a program that we were wondering, how do we do this and help create this essential kind of milestone in the life of our youth, to creating this moment and celebrating and seeing it fulfilled. I also want to thank Jesse Laughlin and Terry Matthews and Joyce Harrent and many more members who provided ways for us to engage with democracy and resistance to authoritarianism. We are more known and more trusted in the community as a result of all of this work. And we are making a difference in advocating for ourselves as individual citizens and also for our neighbors. It's also good that we continue to be a place of welcoming for the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, two-spirit community. We are welcoming families of all ages and configurations within this community, and we are simply being a welcoming presence. We also are welcoming people for the range of our human brains work and our abilities and much more. People are finding us and staying, and this is no small accomplishment by itself when people are moving away from religious institutions. The need for spiritual, emotional, and multi-generational connection remains true, and we are just such a place. So in keeping with that welcoming sense also, I want to make a point to thank Katie Jones as well for coming up with the new fundraiser, the Love Wins Valentine Dinner. And also thank you to the board for saying yes to her inspired idea when it came up during the board meeting in December. It wasn't on the agenda, it wasn't part of a plan, but as we were talking about what's needed in the life of the congregation, Katie came up with this idea and we all were able to say yes. So now moving forward, the main focus, I think, in moving forward in the congregation is to nurture our more connected community. We have many new families, we have lots of new members, and we also want to make sure that long-term members get to know the folks who are new. We have about 294 members, about 70 plus pledging friends, and over 60 children and youth. The task before us is to strengthen what is already going well and to expand how we reach out, how we foster relationships, how we will foster kind of trust and reliance on one another. And also, our work continues to be discovering and rediscovering how to be a human community of all ages, of all the needs, of joys and desires. Even for a congregation of 182 years, as we are, every generation needs to figure out how to be a congregation again. In fact, we need to do this every decade, every 5 years, every year, in fact, every time a new person enters the room. So we would do well to bring a beginner's mind and a compassionate curiosity to each other and to ourselves. Some of us are new to this church. Some of us are new to church at all. And all of us have a chance to get to know how we want to be a congregation and to learn how to do that in our policy, in volunteering, and even in making the coffee as we are working on tending to each other and the world. So we started with a yes and a seeking to live into our mission of embracing freedom, loving wholeheartedly, growing in mind, body, and spirit, and adding to the health of the world. So as we say in this year's annual campaign, we show how much we rise to the moment and strive to be a voice of liberty, democracy, and justice on this one earth. May we continue this good work. I look forward to what we get to do together in the year to come. Amen.